Welcome back to Not Real Fishing, everybody, and today we are fishing the same creek that I've fished the past few times we've been on the channel. I have a few things I want to try today, so it's going to be a little bit different than the past few times. Last time I came here with my girlfriend, I had used a bucktail jig that was white, and I caught a couple fish on it, but not much. Today I have a few interesting things to use because I made the mistake of leaving my keys at my parents' house and I was unable to get into my car, so I had no fishing equipment. So what we've got today is some stuff that I just had like laying around. So for starters, we've got this box which has some random things, and I have these wire worms that I tied that I'm going to try today, hopefully. I've got one in red and one in blue. I've also got some of those things we tried before in the past. Hopefully some of the stuff will work. Like I've got this worm here with some red underneath it. I also tied one bucktail, which is with a different color that I've never used. I'm hoping this will lay flat and stick together like that. I don't want to start with this because I really want to see how that wire worm looks in the water. And for line, I have 10-pound test monofilament, and then I have this, that's a battery, and then I have, where is it? Did I leave it in the car? No. And then I have this thing from that K-Fish, that very light line that came with it, which I'm probably going to use this first. And then I also have a new rod. It's a B&M Brim Buster. It's the genuine bluegill pole. It's 10 foot. It's a lot like the regular B&Ms, but it's kind of like a little jewel, so hopefully it works similar, which if it does, that means that I don't have to get another one. It's very thin, very similar to a Tenkara rod. So I'm gonna get this rigged up and then we're gonna get the fishing started. All right guys, there's our wire worm. This isn't quite the hook I wanted to use. I wanted to use a Mustad wide gap, but the place I went to, all they had was Kales. So this is actually a size 6, I think, Kale hook. So I'm a little worried that I'm gonna get a lot of false strikes, but hopefully it'll still work pretty good. And yeah, let's see if we can get a hold of some fish with this. I'm worried about the castability because it is, well, it was in the tree. Cast very much like a Tenkara rod, really. If I cast it that way, I can. I can't see what it looks like in the water because I'm trying to stay low. But it doesn't look like it looks too bad. I'm thinking the best way to cast this is probably going to be actually a bow and arrow cast because this rod is so springy. At least when I'm sitting down. Nope, that's not going to work either. I think it's going to be like a regular old pitch. This is the best way to cast it. You know, just like you would for a regular. Yeah, that works pretty good. Just going to let it sink. Ideally, I wanted to go to the bottom and then kind of jig it up and down. But I can't get it quite where I want because the wind is kind of messing with me. This would probably work really good under a bobber too. Just letting it sink. Well, we got us a little fish. Looks like a little bass maybe. I don't know what poundage this line is. I'm trying to be a little careful. It looks like we got a little bass. See if we can get over here to this bank. I don't have a net or anything. See if we can get him over this way. Yep, looks like we got a little bass. There we go, guys. First fish of the day. And a nice little green trout. There we go, guys. That was on the that wire worm, that kale hook. I did forget to crimp my barb. I'll have to do that real quick. I don't have a lot of experience fishing with kale hooks, so I don't want to be dealing with weird hook points. Can't get a hold of it. Hold on. There we go. There we go, guys. Very small little bass. Let's go ahead and let him go, and I can reach the bottom-ish now. Oh, don't freak out on me. Got his scale, his fins all puffed up. He's in a mood. See if we can get him in the water without falling in. And there he goes. All right, I'm gonna crush that barb, and then we're gonna get back out there. Completely forgot to do that. I don't think that barb's gonna do any good or make any difference. I mean, not on this style hook. All right, barb is flattened. Now that we're here too, this lower spot, we can get a better angle possibly. I'm wrapped around a stick, of course. Of course I am. Now that we're here, closer to the water's edge, we can fish this deeper pool. Maybe there's something bigger out there. This little rod held that little bass pretty well, but considering that wasn't much bigger than a bluegill, it's not really saying, ooh. There's like a film on the water. Alright guys, this little section right here is normally the best fishing spot that we've had the past few times we've come here. I think it might be because that spring feeds in right there, which gives a lot of fresh water to this spot. I think that might be a lot of the reason why it's so good here, as well as the fact that there's a lot, it's fairly deep. And we're gonna start with this worm here. Hopefully get a fish. Alright guys, we're changing over to like a little shad dart that I'm trying. Maybe some flash will make the difference. I need to crimp the barb. Do that real quick and be ready to go. Alright guys, I do have one other color I want to try. It's white with green bucktail and then yellow on top. I'm hoping when these get wet, they'll lay down together like that. I'm not sure if that's the case. I've never actually used bucktail for a bucktail jig. I normally use marabou, but this is mostly just to see what it looks like. It looks pretty good. Looks pretty good actually. Now, it's a little heavy for this rod, I think, but we're gonna give it a few tries in the hopes that maybe we can get something to eat here. Alright guys, the bucktail does kind of stick together. I'm not exactly sure I like the way it looks. I may have to do some more experimenting with it, but it looks pretty good. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna switch over to this worm pattern. I'm hoping these beads will pull it down because I've tied this before without the beads and it takes a long time to sink. I don't want it to sink super fast, so I want it to kind of slowly sink. Hopefully adding these beads will give it just enough for it to sink slowly and not just instantly sit on top of the water for forever. So get it nice and wet first so it will sink. There we go. All right, now that it's wet, untangle it because they tend to do that. Untangle this and that, and then throw this in the water. And hopefully it'll sink nice and slow. Just giving a few taps every few minutes. I don't know if you guys can see it, but over there by the edge of that like beaver dam, something moving around in the water. I'm trying to watch, see if I can see it come back. It looks like it could be a fish, but who knows? What we're gonna do, we're gonna go back here and try to catch. We've had 2 nibbles now on this fly, and I will tell you right now that adding these few beads on this craft fur or craft chenille from Walmart makes this look so good in the water. It looks fantastic. This might be adding to my box. Now you could probably replace the red beads for lead, and it would probably work good as well. But this craft fur, being as cheap as it is, it's kind of like it has little like micro, like not pores, but it's not like normal chenille where it's solid. It's kind of like fluffy, so it really drags in the water. So when you twitch it, it really kind of writhes around. I want to show you guys what I'm talking about. Sorry, there's a jet. If you look at this, you see how it's kind of got like, it's like fuzzy, but it's like also got a lot of spacing in between it. So when it's dry, it's got all these different like little lines and pieces. So like when this gets wet, it kind of like really drags in the water because there's so many of those little like stems that make up the profile of the body. So when it sinks, it just really drags the water, and it really kind of, I mean, the slightest little twitch just moves it. The only thing I will say I don't like about this right now is they're hitting the tag end of the worm and not the body. So it's hard to get a solid hook set. I've had a couple strikes where they've grabbed the tags, probably little bluegill. Alright guys, we're about halfway back to where we started the video. We're gonna try to fish this little point where it's a bit more shallow. Maybe there's some bass in here. I don't like this. I'm gonna keep moving actually. I'm gonna go right back. I'm gonna go right to where we started. If we don't get any luck here, I think we're gonna change to the pond if we have time. I have to check my phone because actually I like the way this looks. Let me try right here real quick. If we don't get anything in this area, then we will maybe, if we have time, go to that other pond. But the fact that we had that bass at the front makes me think there might be more up there, which would definitely be better than where we are fishing, because where we're at the moment, we don't have the best setup for catching bluegill. A really big bluegill could swallow this, but right now, this time of the year, big bluegill are going to be few and far between. So that's kind of where we're at. Let's try this worm over here in this deeper, more, you know. Finally. Oh, come here, little dude. Like I said, oh, and, well, he's sort of gone. There we go, guys. Massive little bass. We're gonna let him go. Oh, no, go the other way. There you go. All right. So, I am gonna try something different since we are here. And the only negative I will say about this material is bluegill will tear it to pieces. If you look how it's completely like falling apart now. But it kind of gives you an idea what I mean about those like different little pieces. They tear it up. So we're gonna switch flies and we're gonna get back to it. All right, guys, I lied. We're gonna try one more fly, and that was that red bead fly that we made one time. I want to try it one more time because I really want to get more than just 2 little fish. I mean, I'll take what I can get, but if I can get more, I'd rather have more. Oh, we are in trouble. We are in really big trouble. This is a really nice fish, guys. Where are we? Oh, he came off. Dang. That was a really nice fish. That was a really nice fish, guys. He was barely hooked, so he might come back. I mean, he didn't seem like he was even bothered. It's a nice bass. It's probably about that long. I don't know if y'all can see my hands, but it's a really nice fish. Woe is me. Alright, guys, we're gonna go back here where we had those few hits and we missed it as well with this. Hopefully we can get one more fish in the book. Another 3-pounder, second one of the day. I think I know what happened with this, with that bass. Dang, man, I keep on getting bites and then just looking at something else and then missing it. There we go. All right, let's hope it's, Yep, I know exactly what's happening with this bait, guys. So, this fly looks really good, right? Looks fantastic. I think what's happening is they're getting hooked, and then because the bead is there, as soon as they turn away from that, it just boop, pops out because the hook can't set very deep. So I'm gonna try one more fly, because that was a nice fish, whatever that was, and we missed it again because of, but see, that's why it's good to test these things. You might as well test them in the wintertime. Whenever you don't know if they're going to work in the future. I do like these wire worms on the kale. That held really good on that little bass earlier, so hopefully one will eat this blue color. I've never used blue much, but this water is kind of dark, so it might work out to our favor. I should have wet that. So we're gonna try the blue worm, and like a cotton candy color basically, and then we'll get back to it. No. Please. Oh my God. Well guys, I'm officially out of line. Well, not out of line, but line broke, so no more flies. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, share, subscribe, and we are definitely going to revisit those wire flies again. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, share, subscribe, and don't forget, most importantly, take it easy.